The money God wants to give you is not where the trends are, it is where God is. What are the current trends? Short-lived videos to grab our attention, but leave no deeper trace in our life and mind. Explicit content has always been selling point number one. How to make money fast without investing anything and putting in the least amount of effort. Selling our own privacy to the public. Watching other people doing things for hours and hours. These trends can be described with one word: vanity. Now, you may make money like that, and a lot of it too, but ask yourself, did God go with you on that path? Or are you missing something? Are you maybe on a detour right now? Money can be made in many ways. However, we should always choose the noble path of getting paid, not by stealing, lies, manipulation, and creating foggy content that nobody will remember in the future. Instead, creating and making money should bless others, should make a positive impact in this world, and should transform us into becoming more human. At the end of his life, one of the kings in Jerusalem wrote down the following review of his life, after having achieved pretty much everything we think would be desirable. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. Paul gives us a very good word of wisdom in terms of making money. If there is gain you want, there is plenty to be had in godliness combined with contentment. We brought nothing into the world after all, and we certainly can't take anything out. If we have food and clothing, we should be satisfied with it. People who want to be rich, by contrast, fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and dangerous lusts which drown people in devastation and destruction. The love of money, you see, is the root of all evil. Some people have been so eager to get rich that they have wandered away from the faith and have impaled themselves painfully in several ways. But you men and women of God, you must run away from all this. Instead, chase after justice, godliness, faith, love, patience, and gentleness. But what about people who are rich in the present world? Well, to those God also has a word or two to say. You who are blessed by financial abundance should not think too highly of yourself. Set your hopes not on something so uncertain as riches, but on the God who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. You are to do good, to be rich in good works, generous, and eager to share. That way, you will treasure up for yourself a good foundation for the future, and by this come to possess the life which really is life. Do not let yourself be squeezed into the shape dictated by the present age. Instead, be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you can work out what God's will is, what is good, acceptable, and complete. If we live by the Spirit, let's line up with the Spirit. We shouldn't be conceited, provoking, and jealous of each other. On the other hand, maybe you are on the opposite side. Perhaps you are underpaid and a slave to your employer right now. You are giving your best, but to your employer, you are just a replaceable number and all your efforts unappreciated. Surrounded by a toxic workload or even environment, you are constantly asking yourself if this truly is God's will for you. Well, this has nothing to do with God's will, but with yourself, actually. Always roaming around in underpaid jobs despite working yourself to the bone is a sign of lacking self-love. In your subconscious, you think that you do not deserve more, do not work enough, and are not good enough for a better position and more money. But that is a lie. If you want to succeed in your work, you have got to work on your self-love first, and not on the circumstances of your workplace. God said to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So the first step of love is loving yourself, embracing all that you are, your body, soul, and spirit. Because that is what God does. As a loving father, he does not see your shortcomings first when he watches you. He sees what a beautiful, unique creation you are. He sings songs of joy over your life, and he delights in you. He is proud of you, and he also wants to bless us so that we do not have to live in a situation of victimhood and slavery. His love is his main motivation to delight and comfort his children by blessing us abundantly. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be only at the top and not at the bottom if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God. And one of these commandments is to love yourself. Even more so, God tells us how this commandment to love God, our neighbor, and ourselves is the most important one of all and fulfills the whole law. So turn away from your self-hatred and ask the Lord to help you to see yourself through his eyes. He sings songs of joy and delights over you every day. This week's verse for meditation strives to remind you of letting your mind be transformed towards thinking kingdom-like and not world-like, whether you work on building a business, are blessed financially, or struggling with self-love. Turn my eyes away from worthless things. Preserve my life according to your word.